Hi, I'm Joe.
I'm Joe's mom.
And we're Eastside Vibes.
Part 2.
Yeah, part 2. Yeah, we just tried recording this, and for some reason the video glitched out, so we had to start over.
Yep.
But anyway, today we're talking about an album that I've been really excited for. It's Schoolboy Q's Blue Lips.
And you actually recommended it to your brother, and he loved it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he knows so Schoolboy Q has been one of my favorite rappers since I was 18. And I know he's known about that, but I don't think he was as into him.
Right.
But I mean, he knew him. He knew his singles.
Right. But yeah, no, he said he really liked this album.
Yeah. But I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so this is Schoolboy Q's first album in 6 years.
Wow.
His last one before this was Crash Talk, which is probably his least well received album.
Okay.
It's still good, but it's I don't know. It's a little more mainstreamish compared to the rest of his stuff.
Okay.
And because before that he was considered one of the top, I would say he was considered one of the top rappers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Known for his lyricism, his aggression, and really unique voice and style.
Well, you said that he went like dark for a while, dark in the sense that he kind of vanished, if you almost would.
Yeah, he was not really posting on social media at all.
Yeah.
He would post about the 49ers because he likes the 49ers. But that's it.
That's funny.
Yeah, but before that he was very active on social media.
Okay.
And I do wonder if it partly had to do with Mac Miller dying.
Oh.
Yeah, because that also was around the same time that Crash Talk came out.
Okay.
And Mac Miller was very active on social media.
And you said they were good friends.
And they were best friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I do wonder if
what a tragedy
that has something to do with him going dark too.
Okay.
And yeah, so the rollout for Blue Lips was very cool. He basically, like I said, he had been dark for months.
Yeah, yeah.
And for years.
For years.
I mean. And then at the beginning of February, he just tweeted Blue Lips is out March 1st. And all of a sudden started dropping music videos.
Okay.
As singles, but but those weren't for a few of the songs, but they actually weren't on Spotify yet. You couldn't stream them.
Okay.
So it was old school rollout. It was super cool.
Yeah.
He put a lot into it, and it's been cool to see him back, on social media and engaging with fans again.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, I love to see it. And yeah, I know I would assume that you would have heard of Schoolboy Q before this.
Yeah, I did, and I probably knew the name because of you.
Yeah.
And, you also had mentioned that, I don't know if I've ever heard any of his songs, but based upon the albums you were talking about, I probably have, just didn't know it was him.
Yeah, Blank Face and Oxymoron were both, and I think even Crash Talk were #1 albums.
Okay.
So I would guess at some point you would have heard, or at least heard him featured on something.
Right. Just didn't know it was him.
Yeah. But yeah, this like I said, this is his first album in 6 years. So people have been really waiting for this one. Especially fans. He has big fans, and
it's very introspective, the whole album.
Yeah, I mean he's known for that. I would say it's slightly less aggressive than some of his other stuff.
Yeah, I said
he's a little toned back.
Yeah, I said a lot of times I feel the music is a lounge. You're in a lounge and there's a person playing the piano. It's lounge singer music, or it's lounge singer instrumental. A
lot of very pretty experimental instrumentals.
Very much,
especially for a mainstream artist this. You know, this isn't some underground jazz rap artist.
Right, exactly.
This is someone that's huge, you know, on the level of Kendrick Lamar and
wow.
Oh, well, speaking of Kendrick Lamar, I remember when I was 18, you got me tickets to see Kendrick, and I was actually more excited to see Schoolboy because it was a joint tour, and even though the big thing was seeing Kendrick, and I love Kendrick too,
right.
I just have always, even though Kendrick is probably considered the better rapper, I've always enjoyed Schoolboy Q's music more.
Right.
So
like
it's all subjective.
It's kind of like when you went to the Drake concert and 21 Savage was their intro.
Yeah. Or he was there. Yeah.
It seemed like so many people were there to see 21 Savage as opposed to
Yeah, there
Drake.
are people around me that like it seemed like they wanted to see 21, or not seemed like they did want to see 21 Savage more than Drake.
Yeah, I went to go buy a T-shirt on the outside. I didn't go. There were so many people buying 21 Savage shirts, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting."
I tried to actually get the 21 Savage merch, but it was sold out. Yeah. They only had the Drake stuff.
Yeah, I was almost thinking maybe I should get one, but at that time I didn't know who 21 Savage was per se until we listened to the album. Yeah. And then I was like, oh.
Now you would have gotten
it. Now I should have gotten the shirt.
And his merch is really cool.
Yeah, very much.
Anyway, so like always, we're going to talk about some of our favorite songs from this record. Although we may have more than usual, or at least have some shout-outs at the end.
Shout-outs.
And then we'll talk about like how we feel about it as a whole, like to conclude. And the first song we picked was one of my mom's picks, but I definitely could have picked this one too, because it's just such a great song.
Yep.
It's Pop with Rico Nasty.
Love Rico Nasty.
And yeah, I'll let you get into why you like this song so much before,
Yep. So it's funny that a 57-year-old woman likes Rico Nasty.
Yeah.
Because she's hard.
Yeah.
She's hardcore.
Oh, she's super hardcore.
Yeah.
Super aggressive.
Yeah. But I love her. Before we even started like doing this podcast, you had mentioned her to me and I listened to her album and I have some of her songs on my playlist.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's just like one of those, she's so hard, but when you drive to work, it's like I play some of her songs to like pump me up. And
there's literally no one like her.
No, she's got this scream that I just love to her. So
I mean, I would say there's no one like Schoolboy too, especially for like mainstream artists.
Right.
So I think it's cool that he like got a feature like her.
Right, exactly.
Because he's obviously way bigger than her.
Oh, definitely.
So
I said that this was a banger song, and that she slayed. She really slayed in this song. So they say, the song is about the violence he faced growing up, but in addition to that, it's also
her.
Yeah, and her. But then it's like collaborating the fact that they've worked really hard for their success and it wasn't handed to them. And they're kind of like, if anybody tries to take away what we have, we're just going to pop you off. And that's where it's going from it. But great song to be in the very beginning of the album. Truly.
Yeah. I felt like they were kind of like calling out specific people. They're kind of talking, because they're kind of saying like they did live like this really hard life.
Yeah, and they did.
And they, like you said, they did have to work really hard to get to the point that they're at. But they don't forget where they're from.
Nope, not at all.
And they're still like that.
Yep.
And if like and there are people who it seems like fake that life.
Right.
So they're kind of like, no, like, do not get in my way. I'm here.
Yeah. Well, there's one song, I can't remember what it was, where he actually talks about like supporting people from his past too, like financially supporting them.
I think is it Cooties?
Is it Cooties?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was all. I was almost going to pick that song. So, but what's interesting is that when he talks about it, he doesn't talk about it negatively.
Yeah.
Like there's, people are like, they're trying to take my money that I worked hard for. He doesn't talk about it negatively in that song at all.
He wants
he's
to
like,
do
he's
it.
like, I'm here to help because you're in the position that I was in, and if I can help you out, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, and he's been known for that. Like, I didn't like really talk about like his history at the beginning, but like one thing that people kind of know about him is he was like a huge drug dealer, and he like helped start the TDE label that like Kendrick and all of them came up on. SZA's on there. Wow. Basically with the money that he like made doing that. So he he's always been helping people. Yeah. But that's just kind of how he is.
Right.
But anyway, that's Pop. I think that's an absolutely great song.
Same here.
The second song we picked is one of my picks. It's Thank God for Me. And so this one's interesting because it was actually previewed like at the, so they have these like DJ sets called boiler room sets.
Okay.
And some DJ, I forgot who it was, had Schoolboy Q on stage like 4 months, I think it was like last November, 4 months ago.
Okay.
About. And they played this song.
Okay.
And people didn't even know that Schoolboy was like making new music. It was like one of his first public appearances like that in a while.
Okay.
Like you'll like see him on like the golf YouTube channel because he's just like a big golfer now for some reason.
Yeah, he was telling me that yesterday, so I was looking up like old images of him, the ones that I had in my mind, and now he's out there on the course like all dressed up like he looks
jacked.
Like a golfer. He's huge. He's
Yeah.
huge. He's jacked, and it's like, is this the same person?
Yeah, and you're like, is this the person making this music?
Exactly,
like,
exactly.
That's kind of crazy.
Like he's doing pop with Rico Nasty, but yet he's on the course, you know, shooting a 9-hole or whatever.
Looks really fancy.
Yeah, that's funny.
But, anyway, that was like one of the first times people had seen him in a while.
Okay.
And no one knew he was making music. People kind of thought he retired because he just, you know, you just didn't really hear anything. You just, I don't know, he's living his life and raising his kids.
Yep, and
you know?
golfing.
Yeah, and golfing. But this was the first, like, indication that he was coming out with something.
Okay.
And so people got really excited. And then when he announced the album's coming out, everyone knew that this song, like, had to be on there.
Okay.
And I would say that Thank God For Me is, like, probably the most just, like, generic-ish pop track banger on the album.
Okay.
It's a lot less, it's aggressive, it's like a banger, but it's a lot less like harsh and like kind of like weird. It's not like as jazzy as some of the other stuff.
Okay.
But I don't know, I think it's fun. I think it's one that's gonna end up being like a hit because it's easy just like to play at the bar or something. It's like easy to rap along to, especially compared to some of his other stuff.
Right.
You know, because it's not as, like I said, as aggressive.
Right. If you heard pop at the bar, that I don't know that you could.
I mean,
really
I would
sing
love
along.
that.
I would too,
that
but I don't
would
know that
awesome.
you can't really sing along unless you got like a girl sitting next to you who's willing to do the screaming part of it. You know, which I would, but.
Yeah. So Thank God For Me is kind of him talking about his come up and how he's proud of himself for like where he's gotten to. You know, like obviously, you know, like, even like losing weight and like getting like that stuff turned around too.
Yep. Be proud. Yeah, you should be proud of it.
He like talks about how he's like not really. I think he still like probably drinks and smokes weed, but he doesn't like really do hard drugs anymore.
Yeah.
One thing I kind of briefly mentioned, Oxymoron. That album is like, it tells a story of his life. It's deeply introspective.
Okay.
And one of my favorite, he says that he barely remembers making that album because of how much Oxy and Xanax he was on all the time.
Whoa.
He doesn't even remember doing it.
Wow.
And
sad.
It kind of sounds that way, but that's one of the reasons it's so good because it's insanely raw.
Yeah. It's sad though.
And for an artist to like make something like that and like put it out and for it to get big, it was really interesting. Yeah. But
and at the time, you probably didn't realize it was big. You know,
well,
I mean,
yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know if he realized it was as big as like, or if he was as big as he was.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say there's a song on that album. It's one of my favorite. It's still one of my favorite Schoolboy Q songs. It's called. It's a 2-part song. It's called Prescription, then Oxymoron.
Okay.
And Prescription, the first half, is like super like soft and like almost just like him like rapping on like a very like tranquil beat.
Okay.
And it's him literally talking about how, and there's like clips from his daughter like on the song who would have been like 4 years old at the time.
Okay.
Talking about how he was so like high all the time that he couldn't even pick up the phone when his mom called so he could talk to his daughter.
Aww.
Because he didn't want her to like see him in that state. There's like there's like a portion of the song where he says he wakes up with throw up all over him and goes to the studio to like mix his songs. And then like the second half of the song is him like talking about like the dangers and darkness of selling those drugs, which is what he was also doing.
Yep.
And you know, like he talks in like songs like this, he talks about how he doesn't do that anymore. He's not that person. That's like, that was a really roundabout way of coming to that point.
Right. Well, he talks about in several of his songs how he's raising his kids now, and he's happy to be doing it, and he's there for them no matter what, which he probably was before, but now he's like a family man.
Yep.
Again,
he is.
golfs. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, that song, Prescription, is so, like, interesting because it's him, like, saying he can't be that person even though he wants to be.
Yep, because
so
that's what he was his whole life.
Full circle, full circle moment.
Good for him.
And, that's kind of, like, thanks God for me as this very, like, positive feeling.
Yes.
That's, like, what that song is kind of about.
Right.
And, like I said, it's not as dark as some of the other stuff on this one. No. But it's almost a break from that.
Right. And you almost think the title, when you hear it, you're like, thank God for me, that it's going to be, more like, hey, thank God for me, because if it wasn't for me, you're not going to have this. But that's not it at all. No,
it's like, thank God for me, like, getting through everything that I got through.
Yeah.
That it's kind of uplifting in a way, even if you don't relate to, like, this kind of stuff that like he the stuff that happened in his life.
Exactly.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's Thank God for Me. Our third song is Back in Love with Devin Malik or Malik. I don't know which one it is.
Okay.
I know he's like an up and coming rapper and producer on the TDE label.
Okay.
On Schoolboy's label. So it's cool that he's promoting like someone that's coming up with him.
Yeah, what you mentioned, that it's cool that the people who do collaborate with him aren't like people like Drake or Kanye or anything like that. It's up and coming people who haven't quite made it yet. He's trying to promote them. You can say
he has Freddie Gibbs and Absol on here who are bigger artists, but like Absol is more like bigger underground, and Freddie Gibbs is, I mean, I don't think he's had like number one albums, but he's pretty big.
Yeah.
But even then, like you said, that's not Drake,
Right.
That's not Travis Scott.
Yeah. Who would if they were on the album, they would be taking over the song.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sure. I'm sure it would sound different.
Yeah, it would, but I like that he does that.
But anyway, so Back in Love. This song samples a song called Look at Wrist, which is like, I still listen to that song to this day. It's like one of like the biggest underground like trap bangers, I would say, of all time.
Who's it by?
It's by an artist called Father.
Okay. Oh.
And then I Love McConan, who's the one who made Tuesday with Drake.
Okay.
And then another guy called Key. And Father and Key are like known as like pioneers in like trap music.
Okay.
A lot of people who make music today, I would say, are very inspired by those guys.
Okay.
But they never got like as big as like, it's almost unfair that they're the ones who made this sound, then everyone else got big for it.
Yeah.
But like that song is their biggest song.
Okay.
And I haven't heard anyone sample something like this in a long time. Mm-hmm. This is like a really unique type of trap music.
Okay.
And even at the beginning, like they have like the chorus, like the wrist, they say it.
Yeah, they do.
And the beat is almost identical.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that because I love that original song.
Mm-hmm.
And Schoolboy Q's and Devin Malik's like rap performance on this is awesome. It's super, super aggressive.
Okay.
And Schoolboy's talking about how like he's back after 6 years, like he's back in love with rapping again, because maybe he like lost the passion for it too.
Definitely. After
Mac died and everything like that, he could have just been like, he already made like so much money.
Yeah, it's amazing how Mac inspired so many people. And you just and like I'm thinking
we
like
still
even
haven't done them.
Right, and I'm still thinking I'm still thinking like Ariana Grande kind of went dark for a little while after he passed away, and there's other people who he inspired or who.
Speaking of Ariana Grande, her new album's called Eternal Sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you knew about that, but it was known that was his favorite movie.
Oh.
So like that's kind of crazy that she did that.
Oh, she still loves him.
But I mean, but anyway, But yeah, no, I wonder if like I said, if he did lose passion for rapping and just didn't need to do it anymore.
Mm-hmm. And that's maybe
and he's talking about how he found it, obviously.
Right. And I think also too, I mean, I think too, because of how Mac Miller died, maybe this was his time to say, I don't want to die like that. I don't want to go down, and I need to change my life.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I don't know how hard he was still going with that stuff in 2018. I feel like he had toned down.
Okay.
But I mean, Mac obviously hadn't.
No.
So I don't know if Schoolboy was still doing that kind of stuff, and maybe after that is when he changed.
Yep.
But
yep.
Yeah, no, Back in Love is just, I don't know. I think it's a great song. It's a banger. Yeah, it's very like gritty and raw, like that original Look at Wrist song.
Okay.
And I feel like Schoolboy Q would have sounded great on that back in the day anyway, so it's cool to like see him on this version.
Okay.
But so that's Back in Love with Devin Malik or Malik, whatever it is. I'm sorry.
We're sorry.
Yeah. But so the next song we picked is Time Killers. That's one of my mom's picks, and I was interested that you picked this because it might be like the weirdest song on the whole album.
I did that last week too. I did that with last week. I was picking weird songs.
It's good. It's just like a pretty weird song.
It is.
I said like the instrumental. Well, first of all, you've like mentioned how a lot of this feels like old school like jazz club, like frantic jazz club music.
Yeah.
And this one really feels that way.
Oh, yeah.
But it also kind of reminds me of the Law and Order theme. Like the tone of like the bass. Yeah. But anyway, I'll let you talk about why you like it. I'm assuming it's the lyrics, because this is like a very good lyrical song.
Yes. So for Time Killers, it's about what he had to do to get where he is.
Yeah.
And he's reflecting on the hustle he had to survive. So how his growing up, how he...
I think he like even mentions like Fig Street in that song.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then even how he had to, hustle as an adult to be able to be recognized and to be known. And then that also goes along then in the music industry, how he's had to work so hard for what he has and to be able to be there. It also just expresses his determination to be successful against all odds.
Yeah.
So it
kind of different.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me back going to pop where he and Rico Nasty are like, we've worked really hard to get here, and we're not going to let people take it away. And that's kind of a theme to this one too. But he's not like, I'm not going to let people take it away. It's more introspective. He's like, I have worked my off to get here, and I'm gonna stay here. Yeah,
well, like Schoolboy, like I've mentioned, he has been like a #1 rapper.
Yeah,
but I'm sure you can tell like his music's pretty weird compared to like other mainstream rap music. I like one reason I thought you might like this is because you like Danny Brown, and I think this is more comparable to that than like Future or something, or like Drake or Lil Uzi Vert or
it's like instrumentally. I had no I was
you
not
have no
prepared.
idea where that's going.
I was not prepared for like the lounge feel, you know, the lounge singing. I was expecting like,
and then like how aggressive he raps. And he like the way he looks, like we said, you wouldn't think he would make this kind of music.
No.
But I was gonna say when I mentioned Fig Street, have you seen Boys in the Hood?
Yes, one of my favorite movies. Sad movie.
He basically like grew up like in that area.
So if like you've never watched it, it's tough. It's a great movie, but it's sad.
I almost think like I remember him saying in an interview like he like grew up like really close to that street where they found the dead body in the beginning. But so like that's where he's from.
Okay.
And Time Killers, like you said, it just like goes into like everything he's been through,
right?
And including like everything he obviously like vividly remembers what happened in his past life. There's a line. It's on one of the songs on Oxymoron. I think it's in like Gangsta.
Okay.
But there's a line in one of those songs where he says, basically says like people who have killed someone like don't tattoo their tears. Mm-hmm. And it's like saying that like he like really really was about that life, like he lived on the streets, you know.
So he was saying, because I mean you always hear that when people tattoo a tear,
they say it's because you killed people,
but he's like that's not the truth. Actually,
well he's like, you know, if you've actually been killing people, like you're not gonna tell people that's too many tears to tattoo.
Yeah, and like, you don't want to like, you know, put yourself out there that I did, look at my tear. Yeah,
so
interesting.
Yeah, so Time Killers is a song that kind of goes into like that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot calmer than most of the rest of the stuff, I would say.
Definitely.
It's like more of a chill song.
Yep.
The fifth song we picked is Pig Feet with Childish Major. Mm-hmm. And that's one of my favorite songs. You said you would have liked it, but you're not into the lyrical theme, although I'm into the lyrical theme.
Yeah, I'm not, but it is a good song.
It's really like an absolute banger, similar to Pop.
Yes, definitely.
It's super, super hard and aggressive. Mm-hmm. I think, like, thank God for me, this is one I could see maybe like being like a club song.
Yes, I could definitely.
Although Thank God for Me is a little more poppy than this. Mm-hmm. This is like very tough and like
because of the theme hard. Of it. Yeah, because of the theme.
Yeah, and the songs it's basically like pretty anti-police, but it's also about like how like growing up, like how like he would have had negative interactions with police because of the bad stuff he was doing. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Like it's talking about like that kind of stuff too. Like you get the cops called on you, or I got them called on me based on you know, like my lifestyle.
Right, exactly.
And like he's basically yelling throughout this whole song. Mm-hmm. Like you can like I said, I imagine you could hear it in a club because everyone would be like screaming the lyrics.
Yep, definitely. Oh yeah.
And the almost like marching chant, army chant at the beginning. Yeah. Like the left. Like I could see, I don't know. I bet this would be awesome to see live.
Oh, yes. If he came in concert, I'd see him. Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and I've seen him and he's like so good live. Okay. So, yeah, I hope he comes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Pig Feet is... I don't know. I feel like there's a little less to say about Pig Feet because it's one of the more simple songs on the album.
Mm-hmm. And you understand everything.
Yeah, it gets its point across.
Yes, exactly.
And through like the sound and like through like the simplicity of what he's saying. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's Pig Feet with Childish Major. Mm-hmm. The last song we picked is the last song on the album. It's Smile. And that's one of my mom's picks, so I'll let you talk about why you like that one.
You laugh because the last couple of podcasts we've done, I'm always picking songs at the end.
Yeah, you always like the last couple songs.
Yeah, I don't know why. So it's Smile, and but I liked it because I felt it was more positive.
Yeah, you know, it's definitely the most positive song.
Yeah, but it's
which
also
is
very
interesting.
Short.
So I think Pig Feet is the second last song.
Yes, it is,
and that might be the most negative song on the whole album.
Right, and then you have Smile, which is like
it sends things out in a really like almost like cheerful note.
Right,
it's like a love song.
It is. It is. It's a love story. Is what people have said. It's about life's journey and the people who have actually helped him through that journey. And it's not just a love story in the sense that you love a female or something.
Although I think he is talking about a female at some point.
Right, but it's like he loves the people who helped him get where he's getting to. And even if they were, what I found interesting is that even if they were criminals, basically, who helped him get there, he's still thankful for them because they helped him get out of what he was to be able to become successful. Obviously, they saw something in him. Yeah.
Well, he mentions, like, I forgot, not on this song, and like a few other songs, how like he was raised by women, like by his mom.
I've been raised by three women. Yep.
Yeah, his mom, his grandma, and his aunt. Yep. And I think he had a sister too.
Yeah, that's a lyric in one of his songs.
He didn't have like men in his life.
Nope.
And yeah, he's always had like major respect for like his mom and his grandma in his music. Mm-hmm. He like you said, he kind of like mentions that theme on this song too. Mm-hmm. Like you can tell he's very respectful.
Oh, definitely,
for sure.
Definitely,
and, One thing that's funny about Smile is you can tell this song, like he's been working on this album for a while, and because there's a lyric in this song that definitely is not current.
No.
Because he says, "You're the Kim to my Kanye."
Yeah.
So he had to have made this song like 3 years ago or something.
Yeah, because that's not the case now.
Yeah, you wouldn't say that anymore.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be a positive thing to say to someone.
Yeah.
Like,
the Kim to the Pete Davidson or something like that.
If saying you're the Kim to my Kanye would be a pretty negative thing to say these days.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, people considered what they had a love story, especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know.
But yeah, no, I thought it's kind of like funny and quirky that like he had to have been working on this album for a while.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that he picked like this song for last.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I don't know, I guess to send things out on a more like positive note. And yeah, like we said at the beginning, there are a few other songs that we probably could have picked that we wanted to like shout out that we like. I really like Foo with Absol. That's like the fourth like edition of like a series of songs they've done together.
Okay.
That's also, besides Time Killers, I'd say that's like the second weirdest song on the album.
Yeah.
The drums are almost like a marching band sound.
Yep,
it's very interesting.
Yep.
And Absol's performance is like phenomenal. That's one of the reasons the song's so good. Ohio with Freddie Gibbs is also very good. That song, I know you like. I almost thought you would pick it because that song has the beat switches like back and forth, and I know you like that kind of thing. Like it's like 4 beats in that song,
right?
In like a 4-minute song, which is pretty impressive.
Right.
I wish there was more Freddie Gibbs on it, but
yeah, you like Freddie Gibbs,
but Schoolboy's still great on it. Like it doesn't take away from the song at all.
I would have picked, and I thought you were going to pick this song. That's why I didn't. Yeah. I really loved Blueface.
Or Blue Slides.
Or Blue Slides. I keep saying Blueface because I think of Blue Lips. That's why. No, I really loved Blue Slides. I just like the way it sounded.
And it's like definitely a tribute to Mac Miller.
Yes.
Like through the title, and he talks about like his friend that OD'd, and I think he even says in there, "I'm trying to like live up to your standards." I'm assuming he's talking about Mac,
right?
And the instrumental is very similar to like what you would kind of expect from Mac Miller too. I don't know like how much of that kind of Mac music you've heard, but
yeah. I'm sure I've heard Mac Miller songs, but I just don't feel I really know his music at all.
Yeah, I feel like we'll get into that maybe in a few weeks after these run of new albums come out. We'll do a Mac album.
And weird story about Mac Miller, there's a place in Milwaukee called The Rave, where they have a lot of like musicians. They have a lot of concerts there. They have how many different concert things there? Like 6 of them or something?
Yeah, they have like 8 stages.
But there's this swimming pool there because it used to actually be a men's club years ago. And it's just so iconic because he signed it, but I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was almost like forecasting his death.
Yeah, he like says like my soul rests here or something like that.
Yeah, it's just like
he sold it out a bunch of times. I saw him there a bunch of times.
Yeah, it's just it's something, you know, it really hits a lot of people when they hear that.
But now that we're doing Schoolboy and then Ariana next week, like it might be appropriate to it might be appropriate to get into some Mac soon.
Right, well, because what were you saying about the title of her new album?
It's called Eternal Sunshine, which I know that was like his favorite movie, so I'm guessing that has something to do with it.
Yeah.
But
the last song I would have picked is Cooties.
Yeah,
I was this close to picking
Cooties is another one I could have picked too.
Yeah, really good song.
Yeah, those are Blue Sides and Cooties are probably like the calmest songs, but they're really good because they show like a different side to him.
Right.
Like you get to see like this softer side, like that contrasts like how aggressive most of the rest of this is.
Right. Like he's raising.
It is pretty aggressive.
He loves raising his children now.
Yeah.
And
like being there for people in his life.
Yeah. Those are 2 really good songs.
But
I was not prepared for it. Like I said, I thought it was going to be a lot of screaming and yelling.
I kind of wanted you to go into it blind because
I went into it blind.
I thought about doing like one before this, so you kind of got it. because he does have a really, really, really unique sound that you almost have to like get used to.
Right, but what really got me is just the instrumental through the whole thing. I was just like, for somebody who raps that hard but has, like I said, I feel in a lot of songs, the lounge singer song, you're like, wow, just the fact that he put this combo together and it works.
And I'm sure you were surprised at like how lyrical it was.
Oh,
like,
his lyrics are really good.
Like you wouldn't expect. I don't know how you feel, but I don't know if you expect this kind of artist to be like that, because even like I would say 21 Savage's new album, I was surprised at like how lyrical that was.
Yep.
Because he hasn't done that much in the past.
Right.
But I knew Schoolboy did this.
Yeah. So if I were to rank it, I would actually rank it like an 8.
Yeah.
Maybe even an 8.5.
Just, I mean, that's a pretty high score.
That is a high score for me, based upon what I've been doing the last couple of weeks. I appreciate what he's done as a musician on this album.
And I feel like it's a grower. I think if you keep listening to this, you'll start to like it more and more.
Right.
You get, like I said, you get used to the way he's rapping, and then think about what he's saying.
Right. Because the first like couple times I listened to it, I was like,
it's really weird.
I am not gonna like this album.
Yeah.
He's not gonna be happy with me. But then like the more I listened to it, I was like, this is good. This is good.
And I felt I think he kind of said the same thing about Danny Brown, and I think he's similar. Where like you have to like kind of like get it. And I even feel like Kendrick is that way. So if we do some like Kendrick, you might, it's kind of, because it's like heavy.
He was the one in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was good.
Schoolboy's music is, I'd say it's very heavy. It's super heavy.
Oh, definitely.
Like it almost weighs down on you, but you appreciate that because you can tell how much this guy puts into making this art.
Right. But again, then the instrumental is just like, wow, how can you put that together?
Like I love like Drake, but like lately it's sometimes like it feels like you can I'm just saying, I feel like you can tell he worked a lot harder on this.
Schoolboy Q?
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I personally would say I think you can tell he worked a lot harder than Kanye.
Definitely.
Like there's
Kanye's
a lot
just pissed
There's
off.
a lot more thought like into like how this sounds, because even though like the instrumentals are so crazy, it still flows together like pretty well for it being so crazy.
Right. I feel, going back to Kanye, I think his lyrics were almost just like thrown together, because he's just like, I'm so pissed off that I'm just gonna like
That's
say
a good
it.
way to put it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna tell you.
It's almost like a therapy session, but like we're not his therapist.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
So what would you rank it?
I gave it like a 9. I don't know how much I'm gonna hear this year that I like better than that, but I also just love Schoolboy Q, and I was very satisfied with what this was.
Good.
So yeah, that's how I feel. I mean, you can tell I love it. I don't think I have to say much more. That's Blue Lips by Schoolboy Q. And I'm Joe.
I'm Joe's mom.
We're Eastside Vibes, and thanks for watching.
Bye.
Have a nice day.